I feel like shit.
Monday, happy days. Tuesday, Wednesday, happy days.
It's just one of
Friday,
those
happy days. The weekend comes, let's not go home.
It's just one of those days where you don't wanna wake up. Everything is everybody sucks. You don't really know why, but you wanna justify ripping someone's head off. No human contact, and if you interact, your life is on contract. Your best bet,
Just knock it off, you scum bucket.
it's just one of those days. It's just one of
Monday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of
Tuesday,
those.
happy days.
It's just one of those
Happy days.
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand.
It's just one of those days, feeling like a freight train. First one to complain, leaves with the bloodstain. Damn right, I'm a maniac. You better shoot, cause I'm fucking up your program. And if you're stuck up, you just locked up. Next in line to get fucked up. Your best bet is to stay away, motherfucker. It's just,
I'm losing my cool.
it's all
Monday,
about,
happy days.
it's just one of
Tuesday,
those,
happy days.
it's just one of those
Happy days.
days.
The weekend comes, let's not go home. Ready to make stand.
Feel like shit. My suggestion is to keep your distance. 'Cause right now I'm dangerous. Right now I'm dangerous.
Something's happening to the bonds.
My day keeps going this way and this way.
I'm gonna pop you one so you'll stop playing games.
Give me something great. Give me something great. I hope you know I pack a chainsaw. A chainsaw. A motherfucking chainsaw.
What?
So come and get it.
What we got here is a case of mistaken identity, you know? See, now this here,
Not Robert.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chief Moody, and welcome to episode 236, the Christmas special of the Mood of the Nation podcast. These fucking glasses with his hat on. But yeah, it's been far too long. I know, about 2 months actually. The reason how I know that is because I actually checked on my YouTube studio, and it actually says the last episode I did, which was about the PA conference back in October. That was episode 235. And yeah, I think it was the 7th or 8th of October, if I'm not mistaken. It was literally just right after that this year's conference for Patriotic Alternative. And I've not actually made another stream since. There was a stream I did that was supposed to be episode 236, but if you remember that episode, I was just like, look, I got nothing, and yeah, I'm just not gonna do the show tonight. And that was the last time you saw me. And maybe at that point, people were thinking, oh, maybe Chief Moody is done with streaming, he was walking away and all of that. Well, clearly not, because I'm back doing this, just for tonight's episode, considering it's Christmas. It's the 24th of December, which is Christmas Eve, and tomorrow is the big day for everyone here in this country, and even all across the Western Hemisphere or the West or whatever. It's going to be Christmas. That's part of celebration and whatnot. So, yes. Now, I'll get into why exactly I didn't do any streams after that, because maybe I might have said this on the last episode or maybe a few episodes before when it comes to Adrian, hold on. Let me just double check and see the chat. Sandra Spicy Spanish Salami, how you doing? Hello, lads. Good to see you, Chief. Hope you're doing okay. I'm doing okay. Most of the time from October up until now, I've just been busy with work. Thankfully, I've not managed to work this week, although I was supposed to. But the problem was, because it was the Christmas period, or the Christmas week, I should say, at my work, it was like really dead quiet, like very quiet, to the point where either if you were working on that day, you were given a half day because there was like nothing. Look, just come in a day because it's like nothing going on whatsoever. So I guess I got lucky this week when it comes to that. There's a pop-up for some reason, but anyways, that's gone now. But yeah, so I've been lucky this week. So I should be back to work on either, what's with the fucking, sorry, 1 second. There we go. pop-ups everywhere. I don't know why, but anyways, we're here now, so I should be back at work maybe Saturday, but if not Saturday, probably the following week, which will be Monday the 29th, which of course will be my birthday. I'll be 32 this year, which is, again, really scary to think. But it is what it is, I guess, when it comes to that. Oh, there was another chat member as well. Tight Scotsman 14. How you doing? Chief, does your granny always tell you that the old songs are the best? Then she's up and rock and rolling with the rest. To be honest, I think everyone tends to say that the older songs are the best. But it was actually kind of funny at my work. There was people that were commenting on the Christmas songs that we're playing, and some people were commenting, "Oh, I wonder why we never get like a brand new Christmas song from time to time," because they would just play the older songs like over and over and over and over and over again. It's fine for maybe the first couple of times, but when it continuously plays over and over again, it just gets really repetitive. It's too much after a while. But again, it's just part of the whole Christmas season, I guess. But anyways, so yeah, where have I been? As I said, I've just been working for the past 2 months, and I will get into why exactly I haven't really been streaming ever since that last episode I did. That was supposed to be episode 236, but that got deleted. And now this is the official episode 236. So the reason, again, as I said before, I might have actually set this on a previous stream and whatnot, but I just got burnt out of doing streaming. When I first started doing this back in 2019 or 2020, this was actually before I was an ethno-nationalist. I would somewhat constantly stream over and over again. Then when I started doing Mood of the Nation, which I actually forgot the fact that it was doing another anniversary type of episode for that. But you know what? Next year will be 2026. I believe it will be the 5th anniversary of Mood of the Nation. So we'll probably somewhat do something with that when the time comes. But yeah, that's why I haven't really been streaming from October up until now. I've just been completely burnt out. And for me, it's like, how many times can I talk about the same somewhat topic over and over again? And I know it's important to talk about these things, but for me, it was just, I felt like I was like repeating myself over and over again. It was like I was going through reruns at that point. And I can't believe I've done 236 episodes of this crap. I really can't believe it. And yeah, people tune in for some odd reason, which I still don't understand that. But I was just completely burnt out to the point where I was thinking whether or not if I should maybe continue on doing Mood of the Nation, or maybe make episode 235 the last episode, because again, I was just burnt out and I kind of felt like the show Mood of the Nation kind of ran its course really. And even though I still haven't really done a lot of stuff like interviewing a lot of other people and all of that, but for me, it was like there's a lot of shows within the national sphere, like from our lot, that I think not only are much better produced shows, but I think the charisma from the hosts themselves are way better than I would say myself, to be quite honest. I mean, you got Mark Collett, who does, of course, Patriotic Weekly Review. And even also he does other streams on the side. On Fridays, he does like a specific topic stream. He does, I think, for an hour, which I don't know how he managed to pull that off. There's people like, and also he does like the video game stream with Natty. I think he had Euro on, and the Patriarch from time to time on a Sunday, which again are pretty good. I know they do a book club and also the film club as well, which I did appeared on one time for the review of the film 28 Years Later. And if you want to hear my thoughts about that film, it is up on Mark's Odyssey if you want to check it out. But yeah, long story short, I was real disappointed with that film. And I know the new one's coming out. The Bone Temple is coming out in January, which I'm not sure if I'm going to go and see it, to be honest, because I was so disappointed with 28 Years Later to the point where I was thinking, I really don't know if I really want to go and see the next two films, but that it is what it is when it comes to that. So Yeah. Oh, another thing to mention when it comes to other streams, I mean, there's other shows. I know Blair Cottrell and Jill Davis have their show, which again, I can understand why they get much bigger numbers because people tend to like them and look up to them, kind of thing. There's shows like Red Ice TV. You know, I know this year Millennial Woes is back doing Millennial this year, and I think there actually might be a show on at this moment in time. But yeah, so I mean, there's tons of other national streams that um I would say that not only are better shows, but are just have better hosts with it. So you're probably wondering, well, you know, why are you doing it then? I mean, the only answer I can think really with that is it's just because, well, two reasons. One, I want to say I enjoy doing it, but not as much. It just feels a bit like like a what's the word, like a chore type of thing, or what like it's something that it's not exactly as fun kind of a thing, like getting all the equipment together and coming up with stuff to talk about and etc. etc. It wasn't really as fun as it used to be. And for me, it's kind of like I've done streaming for so long since what 2019 or so, maybe even 2018 for that matter. But because I've been doing streaming for that long, it's like, well, it's like why stop now type of thing. But saying that, I'm continuing with the show, Mood of the Nation, and I'm going to try and see if I can maybe do as much show. I know I've said this before in the past, and most of the time it usually fails miserably at that. But I really want to see if I can maybe try and make up for the fact that I'm producing more shows for Mood of the Nation. Maybe try and get more people on as possible, but we'll see. We'll definitely wait and see with that. And probably I'll start doing that at the start of the new year with 2026. And of course, see from there. But since my last episode and up until now, there's been a lot of stuff that's happened. And of course, I've mentioned already Joel Davis with Blair Cottrell and their show. There was actually a bit of a situation that happened with Joel Davis. Now, please correct me if I'm wrong for people in the chat. I believe Joel Davis is still locked up. He's not in prison or anything like that at all, but he's being held somewhere at the moment, which I still think that is just completely bullshit what happened to him. And not only that, but the Daily Mail, which is supposed to be a conservative, right-leaning newspaper here in Britain, for some odd reason decided to dox Joel's wife, who just also given birth to their firstborn child. And I just think that is like the scummiest thing any newspaper can ever do. I mean, it's bad enough that Joel had to miss the birth of his child, and now it's like the Daily Mail decided to just completely dox his partner after that. Like, it's scumbaggy behavior. Absolutely just shameful behavior. That is absolutely fucking vile what happened. And because of this, the Australian police force tend to focus on white Australia. I believe that's Thomas Sowell's group. Again, please correct me in the chat if I got that wrong. But the police in Australia are more focused on that. And what happened? There was a terrorist attack that happened in Australia in Bondi Beach, I think it's called, which was awful, absolutely horrible what happened. And of course, just goes to show that diversity really just doesn't work in the West. And there was something interesting that happened with that terrorist attack. Of course, many people may have seen this before, but there was a certain gentleman who had a head injury, shall we say, and there was a lot of blood on the person. But of course, it doesn't really. It's not what it seems, shall I say, when it comes to that. So. Yeah, really bizarre stuff. But again, it just really goes to show that the police force in Australia are more focused on wholesome, family-valued groups like White Australia than they're actually focused on the two Muslim men, which I believe they were like ISIS members or they had affiliations with ISIS. Again, I don't know if I got that wrong, and please someone correct me in the chat if I do. That would be much appreciated. But it really just goes to show you just who exactly the police force are more focused on. and even the aftermath, and again, Blair Cottrell made a point about this with one video he made, where some of the politicians in Australia were talking about this, were asked about this, and would still, for some odd reason, would try and bring up the far right. It's like, oh, this is the fault of the far right. It's like, what's the far right have got to do with this? What are you talking about? And they, because I believe at the time it was a subject matter of hate speech laws or something to that effect, and this politician can't compute that non-whites have to go through the hate speech legislations, and it only has to affect on white people, which only just further proves our point that the current society we live in just now is clearly an anti-white society. So that's that topic. And again, I'm going to maybe blast through some of these topics, at least from what I've seen before, that they were quite significant towards me when it comes to that. So yeah, but thank you very much for the people who have come along. I think there's about 6, 7. Well, the maximum viewership is about 7 people watching. Hopefully more will turn up. I actually thought more people would turn up, considering I'm doing the stream at 7. Oh, and also because I'm doing the stream at 7 on a Tuesday. Oh no, wait, it's Wednesday. This is when Mark would usually be live, but of course I'm actually the one who's live. Again, maybe it's the fact that it's Christmas Eve and many people are focused on their family members, which is again completely fine. I just thought I would do the stream now, and tomorrow I'm going to be celebrating Christmas with my family anyway, so it's really no biggie when it comes to that. Even then, it's not going to be a long show tonight anyway, so give or take, and maybe people will watch it afterwards with that. But there was another thing I wanted to talk about. Sorry, before I go on, if you do want to support the show, the PayPal link is just pinned up there. So again, it's entirely optional. If you want to send a donation or two, that would be much appreciated. And yeah, anything received through PayPal, again, really appreciate it when it comes to it. But yeah, as I was saying, there was another thing I wanted to talk about briefly, which is Steve Laws. Now, I like Steve Laws, and Steve Laws was interviewed, I think, back in November, if I'm not mistaken, by Liam Tufts. Of course, it's on Liam Tufts' YouTube channel and all of that. And I was the few people that, well, not few people, I was one of the people that actually watched it. And I do give credit to Steve Laws. He did do a good job on that stream. Some of the things that Liam Tufts were, where he was talking about, like, oh, I once had this mate, this black guy, and he's got a big, huge schlong, the whole BBC bullshit, that kind of thing. And as soon as he said that to Steve, I was like, this Liam guy, he's clearly not taking this seriously whatsoever, is he? He's clearly not. And again, I really appreciate Steve Laws. Like he did a good job on that stream. If that was me on that stream, I wouldn't exactly be as patient as Steve Laws was, because as soon as Liam made those points about, like, oh, I got this black guy, with a huge cock and all of that. Tufts is an absolute wobbler. He really is. I mean, at that point, I'm just like, look, let me just stop you right there, Liam. All right. I understand what you're trying to do here, but look, this is a very serious situation we're going through just now. Our men are either being incredibly feminized and completely weakened, or they're getting killed by foreign forces. Our women are either being celebrated and to become whores on OnlyFans and all of that, or they're being raped by, again, third world migrants. Or when it comes to our children, they're being indoctrinated by, again, lefty bullshit, or they're being molested. It's just this is actually what's going on in the country right now, and people are just fed up with that. So Liam, you can try and do your whole black friend bullshit all you want, but we have no time for that stuff anymore. We have to have this discussion right now in terms of demographic changes that is going on within the country, and what should we do to prevent it? Because right now we don't have much time left, and people are sick to the back teeth of it. Now, saying that, if there's one good thing to come out of that whole interview, it really goes to show just how incredibly weak civic nationalism really is. And I know there's this whole thing recently. What I've seen is that they're sort of doing like a rebranding as of sorts, where it's like, oh, we're no longer civic nationalists, but we're going to be Christian nationalists, that sort of thing, which is basically civic nationalism 2.0. About oh, we're believing in Jesus and all of that. Never mind the fact that you got some people within your crowd who actually do OnlyFans, which again completely contradicts your whole fucking point. You even had what's his name? Taccone. I can't remember his first name, but the guy who's part of UKIP. The guy, I remember when we were in Glasgow, part of PA Scotland, were part of the whole UKIP demonstration, and there was that clip of Taccone. It was just like, oh, the far right our agents are here and they need to leave and all of that. But the moment when he comes up to us, it's like a complete 180. He's got his tail between his fucking legs. It's fucking incredible. He was all big, like Billy Big Balls 1 minute, but then as soon as he comes up to us, which we weren't going to do anything anyway, we acknowledged that it was a UKIP demonstration to begin with, and we were actually surprised. Well, I was more surprised at the reaction to our banner, which was the Scotland for the Scots banner. And again, I'm sure you've all seen the clips online that were posted by myself and a few others. Many people were actually they agreeing with it, like, yeah, Scotland for the Scots. And I was just like really taken aback by that, because again, when it comes to groups like UKIP, they are not fans of Patriotic Alternative, because again, UKIP are more civic nationalists, whereas we at Patriotic Alternative, we're more open and honest about who we are. We're a white advocacy group that cares about the Indigenous people of these islands, England, Scotland, Wales, and Ireland, you name it. And we agree with the idea that the Indigenous people of these islands are in fact white. It could be debated, but there's no point because they're all white regardless when it comes to that. Sorry, just 1 second. I'm just checking a couple of messages. Present. Right, okay. That's fine. That's fine. Sorry, I'm just checking through messages. We're discussing Christmas tomorrow when it comes to that. But anyways, but yeah, that was the Liam Tufts thing that happened. So yeah, it was just, again, Steve Laws did a great job. And I know there was a recent clip that was posted. I believe No Chance posted that, because Steve Laws was interviewed by a couple of other guys. One of them I know is Mr. H Reviews. And I do subscribe to him. I do watch his content from time to time. And Steve just goes completely hell on earth on Tommy Robinson. Just what a complete what was it? A complete fraud that Tommy Robinson really is. And yeah, completely agree. So it'll be interesting to see this whole Christian nationalism come into play, because again, all these people that are claiming to be Christian nationalists, I can imagine that it's only Christian in like name only, and they don't actually follow or believe in Christianity or anything like that. It's just, to me, when it comes to that, it's a complete LARP. I'm sure there'll be people in that movement who do solely believe in the divinity of Christ and nationalism and all of that, Christian nationalism, and that's completely fine. But I would imagine there are some people in that movement, Christian nationalism, who are only doing it as a LARP, essentially. So, and also with that interview with Steve Laws, I also love afterwards there was an interview with Ricky Doolan, who, if you remember, Ricky Doolan had a debate with our own Laura Towler, and Laura, I remember, was she just completely trounced him in that debate. So it's interesting that, of course, he comes weasels out of his hole and has an interview with Liam Tufts. Or he gets interviewed by Liam Tufts, and talking about ethno-nationalism and all this, and it's horrible, it's not going to go anywhere. Despite the fact Tommy Robinson and the like are using our own talking points, but hey, it's not going anywhere, right? It's not going anywhere, but they're still using our own talking points, right? Interesting that. So yeah, the chat's a bit quiet at the moment. Again, I would imagine I knew I was going to do the stream yesterday, but the problem was my computer was just running really slow. And again, it's been like it's like 2 months since I last used it, so it was like, well, I maybe should have like I had it all up and running the day before doing the stream, because I was going to do the stream yesterday, but because it was running slow, it was like there was no way I was going to be able to do the stream at 7 p.m. and do it on time. So that's why I delayed that. But yeah. Anyways, so I'm trying to think what else to say, because those were the couple things to mention. But I guess what I can maybe talk about is what to expect with 2026. Well, I don't know if it's the fact that I'm just getting a bit older or anything like that at all, but I'm hoping 2026. Not to say that 2025 was a bad year, because no, 2025 was a good year. In my opinion, it was a pretty decent year when it comes to that. There were some ups and there were some downs, but that's to expect to every year that happens with that. So 2026, hopefully it'll be either a good year or a better year when it comes to it, but we'll have to wait and see with that. Joe's in the chat as well. Hello, Joe. Thank you very much for watching. It's been a while since I last did this, but thank you very much for coming along. So, but yeah, so actually, that could be a question for you guys in the chat. What do you guys expect to happen in 2026? Because I know there's a couple of things that are happening next year. I know in Scotland there's going to be I don't know if it's a general election here in Scotland or if it's like a local election, but basically there's an election happening in Scotland on whether or not who do you want to run the Scottish Parliament, whether it be SNP, Scottish Labour, Scottish Greens, that sort of thing. So my hoping is I hope Reform UK actually claims victory. I don't know if they will. I'll be surprised if they will, but if not, then if they do maybe get somewhere second place, that would be a step in the right direction. So that will be really interesting, because I've seen a lot of polling as of late about that, and a lot of people on the left side of things are really panicking when it comes to Reform. Sure, they might have some snarky remark about, oh, they're not going to go anywhere and all of that, but they sure are panicking and sure are talking about an awful lot. Joe's in the chat. There's a I'm going to butcher that name. Sorry. Elections in Wales. That's happening. Another election happening in Wales as well. So that's going to be interesting to see. I think 2026 will be a really interesting year, to say the least. So, yeah, there's definitely going to be something to watch out for next year, and I can't wait for it. So then, excuse me. Let's see. It's almost half an hour into the show. I actually can't believe that. Well, that's pretty good. If you guys have any questions to ask me, please feel free to ask me them in the chat, and I'll be happy to answer them. I'll still go on for a little bit because, like I said, I'm not planning to do the stream for like a long time. Again, considering it's Christmas Eve, I actually got a couple of gifts to wrap up and all of that, and see from there. So. And also, I should message, again, a couple of people about Christmas tomorrow, but we'll see with that as well. So, any questions to come through? Anything at all? There could be any question at all when it comes to that. And I'll wait and see just now. Hold on a sec. Okay. Right, I'll respond to that in a moment. Yeah, that's fine. I'm also just checking Telegram to see if there's like any other updates as well. What are you doing for dinner? Well, I would imagine for tomorrow it would be the same as usual. I think it's either chicken or turkey we're having tomorrow, with pigs in a blanket and homemade. It's like a roll up. It's not sausage, but it's like a rolled up type of meat sort of thing, with some onions and of course some potatoes or mashed potatoes, I should say, with gravy. Some will say like vegetables, but I'm not really a vegetable guy myself. Maybe carrots, but yeah. But I'm more like a meaty type of guy when it comes to it. But I would imagine we would have that for Christmas dinner tomorrow, and I would imagine for New Year's or here in Scotland, Hogmanay, my nan will be making like a homemade steak pie, which I really can't wait for. That's gonna be what's gonna have with it. Are you having no haggis? No, we never usually have haggis with Christmas dinner or even Hogmanay, which is kind of odd to think, considering again Hogmanay is like the Scottish version of New Year's. I would have thought maybe we would have haggis with our dinner, but some of our family members who we have Christmas or we have at Christmas are not really fans of haggis, but I don't get that. But I'm a fan of haggis myself, but that would be really nice to have. I crashed my van today, smashed the back lights and pain in the arse. Oh dear. Hopefully you'll get that sorted out soon, Joe, because that's not good. I've already answered the haggis question when it comes to the HQ. But yeah, hopefully you're doing okay, Joe, because of the van, what happened to the van. So yeah. 1 second. Also, I should have asked that at the start of the show. Yeah, I'm okay, but the van ain't. Oh dear. Hopefully the van will get fixed at some point. I should have asked this at the beginning of the show, but am I coming through okay? Is the sound coming through okay? Because, like I said, it's been like 2 months since I last did a stream, and there were some things that were still the same, but there were still things that were kind of like I was configuring out, and whether or not trying to get back to the original layout that I had in the past. So I'm not sure whether or not if it's sounds okay, right? That's fine then. Perfect. Right. Any other questions to come through? Anything at all? If I actually should put up the banner here. 1 second. Because normally I would put that up as well, just in case. So if you have a question to ask me, please feel free to. Sounds okay now, Roboty earlier, right. Maybe it's to do with the fact that, again, I've not used this computer in a while, so maybe it's like it's still taking its time to load itself up type of thing, but it seems to be working fine, at least on my end, so hopefully that it will continue on as that. But yes, tomorrow is going to be the big day, of course, being Christmas. Christmas shopping is all done and dusted. Today was a bit of a pain in the arse for me because I was out earlier on. Again, I was off work, so this was a perfect opportunity for me to not only give myself a haircut, because my hair was a complete mess before, but I thought I would also go out and get the last two things to get for my grandparents, which of course being alcohol. So, but I managed to get them. It wasn't like busy as I thought it would be. It was busy, but it wasn't exactly like over the top busy as I thought it would be. But anyways, I think many more people were prepared this year compared to the previous years. But anyways, looking sharp, Chief. Thank you very much. Are you going to any demos in Jocelyn? Well, I know I did participate in the Falkirk demo a couple of times this year. I did try to go earlier on in December, but I couldn't because I wasn't feeling too good. So that was unfortunate. And then there was the Aberdeen. I think it was in Aberdeen. Yeah, Aberdeen. I was asked to come along to the Aberdeen demo, and I was going to go along with it, but unfortunately, a couple of days before, I got asked by my work, could I maybe? We were short on staff for a certain day, and that was the day I was going to go to this demo, and they were all like, "Well, could you maybe come in and actually help out?" And I was like, "Fine, I guess," but. It is what it is, but hopefully by 2026, I'll go back to these demos and see from there, because it'd be really interesting, because I remember, I think it was the second time I went to the Falkirk demo, and we put the banner of the Scotland for the I think it was the Scotland for the Scots banner, it might have been the other one, but we had that up, and of course Antifa were just like, Nazi scum off our streets and all of that. And I got recognized by someone, by some douchebag in the lefty side of things, the pro-immigrant side of things. And it was actually the same skinny douchebag from the Erskine demonstration, I remember, who was like, "Oh, well, Stephen Thompson is not from Erskine." It's like, Yeah, I know that, mate. I've acknowledged that before. And I was the same guy who was like, "Oh, Stephen." Of course, my name is public anyway, so it doesn't really bother me that they're like, "Oh, we know who you are." It's like, mate, that's fine. Like, I'm not ashamed of what I believe, and I stand proud of what I believe in. They're a bunch of LARPing twats who are just champagne socialists, apparently. But anyways, he was like, he was getting my attention, and of course, I looked up to him, and I was like, "Oh, I remember that guy," and he was like, "Oh, you seem a bit like far away from home, or you know?" I said, like, "Oh no, I'm from here. This is where I'm from. I'm from Falkirk, believe it or not." And I should have said I should have asked them that question because I remember most of them are either from like Glasgow University or like Fife or some parts in Edinburgh and all of that. So because I remember we would use the point about sorry, excuse me. I remember we used the point about they're all Boston wankers because they are. They're all completely Boston wankers. And then they try to have the audacity to claim they're from that area, which they're clearly not. And the difference, like, say, with myself and my group is that we're honest about who we are and where we're from and all of that, but they seem to can't do that. And now, from what I've noticed with the Falkirk demos, is that they're actually using our talking points against us, against the Falkirk people. Or there seems to be all this Boston people from other places. It's like, that's you motherfuckers. Like, you're the Boston wankers. And I find it really funny that Maggie Chapman, an MP for Scotland Northeast, which is what Dundee and Aberdeen, those sorts of areas, she was at the Falkirk demo that I found out later on. You know, talking about like where refugees are welcome here and all of that and all this bullshit. And it's like, right, you're going to make a point about Boston people from other areas, and yet you got Maggie Chapman in the Falkirk demo, who's not even from Falkirk. She's an MP for the northeast of Scotland. What the fuck are you people talking about? You don't have to be from the town. This whole country is ours. Yeah, exactly. I even say to people at these demos, I'm like, "Oh, I'm not from here. I'm from, this area." And they're like, "Well, why are you here then?" It's like, "Well, I'm a Scottish nationalist." You don't have to be from a town or anything like that at all. Like, to me, I'm representing the whole of Scotland, like all of Scotland, because I'm a Scottish nationalist at the end of the day. I care about Scotland in its entirety. That includes all the areas in Scotland, and I don't want these migrants anywhere, period. I want the borders to be completely closed off. So, but yeah, it's just, it's really funny when it comes to that lot, but yeah, so. But I'm hoping to be back in the next Falkirk demo, which I know some of the people at the Falkirk demo, even on the anti-migrant side, are not fans of us because they're very pro-Israel type of thing, and they get really nasty to one of my colleagues, Richard, who again you've all seen his stuff on YouTube and all of that. They would get like really nasty like towards him, like, "Oh, you're a neo-Nazi fascist, like you're giving this place a bad name and all of that." And it's like, mate, you're civic nationalists, right? You're like, you're basically the gatekeepers that are trying to stop people from going to our side, essentially. If you could only protest in your own town, the left would be stuffed. Yeah, exactly. That's why they go. Sorry, excuse me. That's why you see the same exact people in all of these demos every single time. Because, yeah, if they were to stay in their own towns or where they're actually from, they would be completely stuffed. Exactly that. So, yeah, I hope to be back for the next Falkirk demo. And I hope to be in other demonstrations also, whether it be in Aberdeen or in Dundee or whatever, but it'll be interesting to see. Time is at 7:44. I appreciate the questions coming through. But I think what I'll do now, folks, is if you guys don't mind, I did say it was going to be like a short episode tonight anyway with that. If you guys don't mind, I'm just going to end the show here. My throat is a little bit parched. I keep on forgetting to get a drink set up so I can help my throat kind of thing when I talk. But yeah, so I'm just going to end it here tonight. And For those who did turn up to the show to watch, thank you very much. I'm still surprised that 10 people actually watched the stream tonight, which is fantastic. But yeah, in terms of future episodes, I should be back after the New Year's, of course, around about January. I'm not sure if Mark will be doing a stream, whether it be like a year roundup type of stream. I think he's done that in the past few years, but I'm not sure if he's going to be doing this year. But if he does, maybe I might appear in that. I don't know, but we'll see when it comes to that. So anyways, have a good Christmas. Same to yourself, Joe. And that goes for everyone as well. So thank you very much for watching. Of course, be it Christmas tomorrow. Have a very Merry Christmas, and then have a fantastic New Year when it comes. Thank you all very much for watching. And of course, I'll let you guys know when I'll be back. Just follow me on Telegram and other platforms, of course, like X and all that. I'm still on X, which again, I don't know how I managed to do that, but there we go. Support Patriarch Alternative. There we go. You're going on that, right? That's excellent. We are doing New Year's Eve show, right? That explains it. Okay. Maybe I might appear in that, but we'll see. All right. So, but we'll see when it comes to that, because I might be out on Christmas Eve again, spending time with the family, but we'll see when it comes to that. So, anyways, but yes, it was good to see everyone. Thank you very much for coming along. I'll be back in the New Year's again. Keep following me on Telegram and all of that for updates, and then I'll get back to when I'll do another show in the near future. But until then, thank you very much for coming along. Merry Christmas. Have a New Year when it comes. Happy New Year when it comes. And I hope to see you all in the next year in 2026. Thank you all, and have a good night. And enjoy Christmas when it comes. Merry Christmas. Thank you all, and good night. Take care.